Happy Friday out there, Facebook world. Hope your weekend plans are good. Every Sunday I'll stand on this stage, and as you can hear, I'm in an echoey church auditorium right now, but every Sunday I'll stand on this stage and I'll preach a sermon. And I like preaching. And although it takes time, study, and preparation, and although there's the stress of making sure that I preach a relevant lesson that's true to the Bible, preaching's my favorite thing to do. I don't have to be pushed to get up here and deliver a lesson. And every Sunday out here on these seats right here, we'll have 190, 200 people or so who like being here. They like singing songs of praise. They like praying together. They like hearing the lessons, I guess, that I have to preach. But they like being here. Being here on a Sunday is not hard for them to do. In fact, they'd probably say they enjoy being here. But the point is this: where it gets difficult is not what happens in here, but what happens when we leave this building out those doors. The most impactful sermon that I will ever preach will not happen right here on this stage. See, you've probably heard the saying before that a person would rather see a sermon than hear a sermon any day. That's 100% true. My lifestyle, day after day, is what's going to make the biggest impact on the world. I could be preaching a biblical, wonderful, relevant lesson true to Jesus on this stage 3 times a week, but if I don't live like Jesus, no one is going to care about what I have to say. Those who sit in these seats every week. Although good things happen in this building, although Bible studies happen here, classes happen, youth events, service projects, worship gatherings, the impact this congregation is going to have on Visalia is not going to happen right here in this building. It's going to happen when we walk out those doors, when we interact with our families, with our co-workers, with our neighbors, with our friends, with people who like us, with people who like Jesus, and with people who don't. See, you've probably heard this another saying, and the saying is, don't just go to church, be the church. Again, that is 100% true. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't have a favorable view of Christianity. Maybe they grew up going to church and they saw a lot of hypocrisy, so it makes them untrusting of those who follow Jesus. Maybe they were mistreated by Christians in the past, so they think that all Christians act a certain way. Maybe there's some sort of militant atheist who wants to do away with all religion, or maybe they just don't believe in Jesus yet and they don't see a good reason to. Whatever the reason is, when we interact with people out there in the world, let's not give them any reason to not like Christianity. In 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 12, it says, live your lives in such a way among the Gentiles. And I think he's using the word Gentile to describe non-believers. He says, so that if they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 15 says, be blameless and innocent children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation in whom you shine as lights in the world. And even Jesus himself, in a verse that maybe you're familiar with. In Matthew 5 verse 16 says, in the same way let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So my question this morning is this, since my voice is definitely going out, what example are we setting in our community? What are we preaching by our lifestyle? Let's live our lives in such a way that people can't help but want to learn more about this Jesus that we say we are following. Real Christianity doesn't happen just right here in this building. It happens when we leave those doors and we interact with the people out there in the world. Thank you for tuning in today. Have a blessed weekend.